Narcissistic abuse breaks you from the inside. They attack your trust in yourself. Trust in yourself is an invisible asset which you hold. The narcissist cuts your connection with this aspect of yourself. To build this back up, you have to walk a path. A path which your heart asks you to take. You may not have ever imagined walking down this path. But you will very clearly know in your heart that this is the path for you. In this path you will relearn everything about yourself. Your boundaries, what you like to tolerate and what is not okay for you at all. You will find that you have stopped compromising and you have stopped setting yourself on fire for anyone else. When I started standing up for myself, I lost jobs, houses I was living in, I lost friends and relationships. Yet I knew in my heart that there was something greater waiting out there for me which I needed to discover about myself. This is how I began my healing journey, by not compromising my worth and respecting myself. The day I started doing this, everything started to fall apart. My whole life as I knew it started to shift from beneath my feet. I was working jobs I never thought I would work in. I started spending a lot of time by myself. All of this really changed the way I interacted with myself and others. This is when I honored my needs and truly understood what I wanted from life. I understood that a relationship and having a family is secondary to me. I learned that working in community services is what gave real meaning to my life and gave me any happiness. Complex PTSD and ADHD gave me a clear indication that I would be doing a disservice to my future unborn children by bringing them into this world. I personally have no energy to serve and raise children and turn them into functional adults. I have a lot of healing to do myself, and I simply cannot cope with the idea in itself. This is how I slowly came to trust in myself. By listening to what I had to say and what I truly wanted, however outlandish it may sound. In everyday life I did some things to trust myself again. I would deny reality by not believing what I saw and what I understood about people. But eventually what I had thought would come to light. Every time I ignored what I saw and believed about a situation, I would end up paying for it. This is how I learned that my judgments and calculations about people and circumstances were right. This is how I started to trust what I saw and understood. Through harsh lessons. If not for my isolation, I would be taking in what other people had to say, and this would again disturb my trust in myself. Isolation on this healing journey helps you to learn to trust yourself again. When you rely on no one but yourself, you develop trust. This is empowering. You start to recognize yourself. You begin to understand your level of consciousness depending on how you perceive this world. If you find the world shallow and being authentic comes easy to you, then this means you are most likely to follow the path of humanitarianism or a spiritual path depending on your calling. This level of consciousness you have will determine the trust you have in yourself. When you recognize that you have a higher level of consciousness, you most often will choose a road less traveled. You most often will know what is best for you, even if it happens to be the most unpopular opinion. The thing about people who wake up from narcissistic abuse is that they always march to the beats of their own drum. This is why they wake up from the abuse. This is why they were not able to be gaslit by the narcissist. This is why they have the sole plan to break generational trauma. You already have a level of consciousness which is at a level higher than those around you. You can never be happy with a life where you are told what to do and how it should be done. Your mind is too independent for that. Your discernment of the truth of any situation is also always on point. You can tell lies from truth even if the whole world follows the lies, you will know the lies. So trust in yourself comes from multiple things. In you honoring your boundaries, at work, in relationships, and generally in life. This will help you trust your feelings about every situation. In you recognizing who you are, through the choices you feel compelled to make as an individual. This will develop your trust in the choices you make for yourself on an ongoing basis. In you relearning how to assess your reality and those around you. This will develop your trust in knowing who your people are and how to deal with those who feel alien to your system. In you practicing your perception of reality, by following what your discernment tells you do. This develops your capacity to trust your instincts about where you stand in relation to your reality. In you being able to keep a track of the emotions you feel on a daily basis, because this will determine how your emotional well-being is. This will develop your trust in your own capacity to deal with a situation. As you can see, we need to trust ourselves in many ways. This comes from participating in life. This participation has to be done in small chunks and bits. It has to be tolerable for your nervous system. When you participate, you come back and have an honest reflection about your role. Then go back and do the things you want to do, again in small chunks. Then you come back and go into reflection again. When we trust ourselves, we feel connected to ourselves. This is when we feel connected to others and our reality. This is what the narcissist destroyed. But it is possible to heal this. It requires a lot of patience and the practice of reflection. When reflecting, if you are taken over by thought rather than wisdom, your growth can be hampered. What I mean by this is that you need to understand how the ways of this world may not always be suitable for you as a person. In reflecting your daily life, you have to be honest. Be driven by long-term goals, be driven by meaning rather than materialism, and be self-aware. Self-reflection is a huge part of the healing journey. Without this, there can be no alteration or correction in the way we think, feel, and act every day. If we are to bring about any change, it has to begin from within ourselves, and this only starts and ends with introspection and self-reflection. Trust can only be grown and formed through the practice of self-reflection. Thanks for watching. While the healing may not be easily noticeable in this journey, we need faith in ourselves and in life that healing is happening, and it is very much possible. Thanks for watching. While the healing may not be easily noticeable in this journey, we need faith in ourselves and in life that healing is happening, and it is very much possible. Faith is what helps us walk the countless miles we need to walk to heal. It may be a long road, but it is a blessed one. When we have hope and keep believing, it gives us strength. Without hope and faith, it can be disheartening. In our practice of self-reflection, it helps to renew our faith and hope in this journey. Again, thanks for watching. Whatever you do, never give up.